Welcome back to the Pulp for Good channel. Today we're talking about the 7 most common refugee myths. Now, you may be somebody that's very informed about refugees, and you may see them in your communities, you may have been working with them, but there's a good chance you fall prey to some of these myths because they're so prevalent across our country and across other groups. Today we're going to be addressing each of these and try and help dispel some of these myths and provide a little clarity. Myth number 1. Refugees take jobs from American workers. Now, this is a very common myth, and it's something that pops up all the time. But the simple truth of the matter is it's not true. The Department of Labor has done immense studies on these things, and have actually found that refugees are net positive to our economy and end up creating jobs, tend to be higher paying jobs for Americans that have been here before the refugees came and settled. Myth number 2, refugees don't pay taxes. This one is easy to understand, right? You think, hey, they're not a citizen, they're not going to be paying the same taxes as somebody like me or you who are citizens. The truth of the matter is, they do pay taxes. They pay property taxes, they pay income taxes. In fact, they pay almost every single tax that you or I pay as well. The difference is, they don't have the opportunity to vote. And so the rights of being a citizen actually allows them to be able to try and help influence where the money should go that they're paying. Being a refugee in the United States means you still have to pay the same amount as any citizen does. You just don't get any influence into where that money actually goes. Myth number 3. Right? This is a common myth is that refugees get money from the government to buy homes, cars, or any other things. Now, it is true that the government does have some programs that they can use to try and help refugees get back onto their feet. But this provides a minimal amount of funding and is normally used only in emergency cases. Very similar to something like homeless grants or other things that are trying to help people get back on their feet in those situations. This amount of money does not go to cars, does not go to housing, or does not go to various other things. It normally goes to immediate emergency needs like immediate housing shelters, a hotel, something very, very needed at that time, food, whatever it is. The idea that refugees get any type of economic incentive for coming to America just simply isn't true. Myth number 4. All right, this myth is that refugees come to America for economic reasons, because they can make more money. The simple fact is, most refugees come because they're fleeing something. Persecution, war, all sorts of things, famine, disease, right? The people that are coming to America are not coming because they feel like it's a place for them to make more money. Often they're coming because it's the only place they can survive. Myth number 5. This myth is that the United States is the only country to accept refugees. This is 100% not true. And in fact, recently the United States accepts less refugees than most other countries that are involved. There's at least 24 other countries that accept refugees. Places like Australia, China, United Kingdom, all accept more refugees than we do. Myth number 6, refugees don't contribute to society. Now, this is an interesting one because not only of how wrong it is, but of the order of magnitude that it is wrong. Right? Refugees add an immense amount to society, not just by adding in cultural benefits and helping us have a greater diversity of thoughts and ideas, but many of the greatest business people we have are either refugees or sons or daughters of refugees. The interesting thing, if you know anything of the story about Steve Jobs, who one of his parents were actually a refugee. Now imagine a world without an iPhone, where I'm filming this on right now. That came because of the ability for refugees to flee and have a place of refuge inside of this country. Myth number 7, refugees represent a public health hazard. Now there's a concern, particularly in days and age of COVID and other things, that those fleeing could be fleeing disease or fleeing mismanagement of disease or those type of things, and that they may have some sort of issues being in the general public and sharing some of the issues. Maybe they're not vaccinated, whatever it is. This is not true. The matter of fact is most health problems refugees experience come from their actual flight from the country they're fleeing from, right? Most of them have simple health problems that can be addressed in clinics or otherwise. It's not a communicable disease. They don't put extra taxes or extra burdens upon the healthcare system. They just need to see someone at a doctor for normal things you or I would have taken care of in just a few minutes. So there you have it, 7 myths about refugees, and I hope you learned something. If you're anything like me, there may have been some of these myths that you bought into a little bit, The important thing to understand is refugees need our help. They're people that need to be listened to and need just a little bit of help to get on their feet. And once they're on their feet, they provide a tremendous benefit for our society.